Hey, what's up guys, OSJ here with another Amiga video, and today we will be looking at what I would consider the 20 best Commodore Amiga shoot 'em ups. Everyone knows that I love my shoot 'em ups, and the Amiga had some good ones, but also had some bad ones too, and to be honest this list wasn't as straightforward as I originally thought it would be, which means that the lower end of this list are just okay games, but nothing really special. Luckily for us though, the top part of the list is class. So sit back, relax as we go through the 20 best Commodore Amiga shoot 'em ups in order of greatness. We'll start with Menace in 20th position. So Menace is a great looking and sounding game, but it's just too boring after a bit. It's sort of a flashy looking delta with enemy waves, but there is always something that bothered me about the game, and that's it just doesn't feel like a shoot 'em up. The ship just doesn't feel right. It's weird and it's hard to describe why, so go play it and hopefully you will get what I mean. Nineteenth place is taken by Saint Dragon. This is a quality arcade part of a game I wasn't keen on when I was younger, but I think that was down to not playing it right because I never used the dragon's body as a shield or nothing. But yeah, firing this up on the Amiga, I quite enjoyed this one. Xenon 2, the Megablast is in 18th position. Now this is a game that maybe wouldn't have been on this list if it hadn't been for the soundtrack, which is one of, if not my favourite Amiga tune ever. The game is by the Bitmap brothers, so it's polished to hell and looks great. But for me, it's a bit slow, although when you do power up, the game does get a lot more interesting. In 17th place we have X Out, or Cross Out. So this is one of my favourite shoot 'em ups on the C64, and the Amiga one plays about the same with better graphics. But for me, I still feel that the C64 version just tips this one for overall game satisfaction. Also, it's quite hard and unforgiving just having one life, so maybe not for everyone. Sixteenth place is taken by Wings of Death. Now this one will be a sore point for some Amiga fans as the Atari ST version was better, but still this is a great game. It's a little bit annoying sometimes with the bad pickups, but other than that it's a solid horizontal shooter and I like it. The weapon pickups are nice and the whole game just flows and it's not too difficult.
Dragonfire.
Agony is in 15th position. If this was a list of best looking shoot 'em ups, this one probably would have been top as it's simply stunning. The music ain't bad either, although sometimes I don't think it really goes with the game, but then there's the gameplay and it's all a bit too samey. In fact, I can breeze through all the levels apart from the last one where it actually does get hard. In 14th place we have Uridium 2, so my good mate Lucas Rainford always raves about Uridium, saying it's a great game. I wasn't keen on it on the C64 even though it's a class game, but the Amiga version for me has it all. Great looks and gameplay with nice music. I just find this version much easier to see what's going on, and with it being such a fast game, it's an essential part to actually see the obstacles. Thirteenth place is taken by Mega Typhoon. So this is a game that gets mentioned a lot in the forums etc when the shoot 'em up subject is mentioned. While it's not a bad game, it's just too busy for me, and compared to Battle Squadron and Hybris, which is as much like, it just doesn't reach the standards of those two games. Still though, it's worth a play if you haven't played it. T-Zero or Trauma Zero is in 12th position. This is a new old game being developed in 1999. It's a game that featured on my old channel as the best Amiga game you probably haven't played. As you can see, the game is great looking and even better sounding, and if that's enough for you then you will love this. If you want a challenge raw, then pick one of the games coming up. In 11th place we have Z-Out. So although people think this is a follow-up to X-Out that we saw earlier, it's actually a totally different game and renamed and rebranded by Rainbow Arts. The game is very R-Type-esque, but as that's a brilliant game, that's not a bad thing, but it's not as good as R-Type, so while it's still worth playing, I'd always go back to the game it was cloned from. 10th place is taken by Project X Special Edition. Okay, so I've shown Special Edition here, but really it's both Project X games as they're virtually the same. Anyway, the Special Edition is a bit easier, which is good because the original was mega hard. I say easy, it's still tough enough to challenge you though.
Collect credits for bonus weapons. Select now for homing missile. Power up.
Inviyya is in 9th position, so this is a new game being released this year and it's an absolute cracker. The graphics on this game are top notch and the music is great too. When you realise the fact that this is not like T0 that won't run on a normal Amiga and this one will run on a stock 500, it's a truly great feat of coding. Eighth place is taken by Disposable Hero. So this game was on my recent CD32 video and I stated that the original game, this one, was too hard. Well, maybe I was a bit hasty saying that, because after going back to it, it's actually a really decent game. Maybe it was just too hard for the young OSG. Seventh place is taken by R-Type. Now this is one of the best parts of the arcade classic, but it has one problem for most people. It's actually harder than the already hard arcade. I like a challenge though, and to play this at this quality in my home was a true treat. Silkworm is in 6th position, so it's not very often that a home port outdoes an arcade game, but in Silkworm they actually did just that. The gameplay is immense and the sound effects are great. If I had a choice of playing this or the arcade cabinet, this version wins hands down for me every time. It's just way more player friendly. In 5th place we have SWIV, so the debate will run and run on whether this is a sequel to Silkworm, and the truth is there to be seen in the manual, as it's actually connected to the original arcade game, but who really cares? We got a great top down shooter here that, although not having music, ticks all the boxes of a great shoot 'em up. Fourth place is taken by Hybris. This will be many people's favourite shooter on the Amiga, and it's a brilliant top-down shooter. For me though, it's just not as good as the next few, but as with all my lists, they are totally subjective and there's no doubt of this game's quality. Apydia is in 3rd position. This game for me is by far the best side-scrolling shooter on the Amiga, and it's actually right up there with my favourite side-scrollers ever. The tunage on this game is off the map, and just look at how beautiful it is. The whole insect concept is carried off to perfection, and it's no wonder that this game is expensive to own now. It's so good. In 2nd place we have Battle Squadron. This is as good as top-down shooters got on a stock A500. It has great music, sound effects and graphics, and the whole game just flows. I know that this is Lucas Rainford's favourite, and he harps on about it all the time, so I'm waiting to see what he thinks of it being in 2nd. But yeah, it's a class game. And now in first place we have Banshee. So Banshee was never a game I played when I was younger because I only had an A500 and this was an AGA game. So only in the last few years have I played this and I immediately fell in love with it. So much this is my second favourite top down shooter ever after Truxton. It's all in the looks, which I think are very Bitmap Brothers like, and great sound as there's no in-game music, but still this is as close to an arcade shooter as the Amiga got. Okay, that's it for this video. Please let me know in the comments below what your favourite Amiga shoot 'em ups were, and if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more great retro content. Oh, and if you want to support me on Patreon like this group of top quality folks going up the screen right now, get on over to my Patreon channel. Till next time, this is OSG signing out.